That's right. Welcome to our Sunday gathering. Who are you today? Are you the little kitten? Are you the lion in the mirror? I just love that because we're not often who we think we are, and we can see ourselves any way we wish, can't we? I'm sure you've guessed our theme by the opening songs. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'll have Darren do that. But yes, for the last 233 weeks, we've been here on our world famous Sunday gathering. You're in good company. We're usually joined by about 150 to 200 people all over the world. And I know we're just looking at each other between iPads and computers and cell phones, but we are a very real and very special community. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Darren to hear a little bit more about our Sunday gathering and how it's going to go. Well, how it may go today. A little more about our theme and who's doing what. Over to you, Darren, and hello to Dominic.
Thank you, Sandra, and hello, Dominic and Sandra and everyone else, and thank you for joining us on week 233. Who would have believed it? And can you believe we're in September already as well? Oh my God, where has this year gone? Where did the years go? They absolutely fly by. Anyway, as most of you guessed, today's theme is courage, and the theme was developed by Dominic, who's our guest medium today. So all what you see here today was done by Dominic. The songs, the order of service, who's doing what we're talking about, it's all down to Dominic. And he chose the theme courage because I think in today's world, there's so much going on and so much change and challenge for everybody. You know, with people, we're living in different countries with what's going on in the world. And I think sometimes we just need that little bit of courage between ourselves. So, but I won't spoil it because that'll be discussed as we go through the Sunday gathering. So today you've got myself as chair. I'll also be doing today's reading and part of the address. You have Mrs. Sandra Champlain, the hostess with the mostess, who will be doing all the behind the scenes things, but will also be part of the gathering as well. And we'll be doing our healing segment as well as words of the week. And then you have our wonderful guest, Dominic Boag, who's joined us again, who will be doing today's opening prayer, part of the address, and obviously the demonstration of mediumship. We did get Sandra to do it initially, but she declined. We were going to get Sandra to do the mediumship and Dominic to do the behind the scenes, but it didn't work. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Dominic Boag to do our opening prayer for today's Sunday gathering.
Thank you, Darren. It's always a pleasure to be with you both, and a huge welcome to each and every one of you. So friends, let's just take a moment of contemplation as we send our thoughts to our friends in the unseen world. Divine Spirit, Father God, we graciously ask that the veil be parted, to allow our loved ones to step forward and speak their truth once again, that life truly is eternal. Allow our friends and our family to step forward and give us the blessing of their love, to give us the healing that will help us continue through life. As we have come here together from different walks of life, but under the banner of We Don't Die, allow us to walk forward knowing that truth, that life is eternal and that we do not die. We ask this in your name, Father, which is love and unconditional love. Amen.
Thank you for that, Dominic. It's me back again. I've got a couple of little stories to share with you in today's reading. The first one's about a lady called Florence. Her father had 9 wives and a total of 77 children. Florence's mother, his 9th wife, had 6 children to raise. She was often unable to provide for their basic needs of food and clothing, let alone education. In fact, out of a total of 38 girls in her father's family, Florence was the only one to complete her education. My father did not believe that education was necessary for girls. I had to sneak to school and return unnoticed. One day I forgot to change out of my school uniform, and my father saw me. He was angry and beat me up for bringing disgrace to the family. It was only after her father's death that Florence began to openly attend school, to the disgust of her elder brothers and the community at large. Only her mother supported her educational pursuits. When she turned 9, Florence's caregivers planned the FGM ceremony for her. This brutal ritual involves the partial or complete cutting away of a girl's external genitalia. FGM, the cultural rite of passage from girlhood to womanhood, has traditionally signalled a girl's readiness for marriage countrywide. Approximately 26% of girls are married before the age of 18, and 6% are married by the age of 15. Florence learned that after she underwent FGM, she would be married. An old man from a neighbouring village had approached my family to arrange a marriage with him. He wanted me to be his fourth wife. At the time, Florence was in the 3rd grade. Her oldest brother, now head of the family, had already accepted half of the customary bride price from the man, which included camels, cows, and goats. According to tradition, after the ritual cutting, she would become the old man's property. So Florence took a desperate step. She ran away from home. I did not want to be married early because it would shatter all my dreams. I ran away from home, living with well-wishers and teachers who supported my desire to complete my education and make something of myself. Her determination paid off. After finishing secondary school, Florence enrolled in a teacher's college and later graduated with a degree in education. She then married the man of her own choice, a privilege few women her age knew. Now Florence had the credentials and platform she needed to effect change. Florence now runs a school and rescue centre for girls who escaped FGM and early marriage. The primary school in Kenya is no ordinary school. In addition to educating local children, it is also a rescue centre for girls saved from FGM and early marriage. Girls who are scheduled for FGM will flee to the school for safety. Other young girls who have already undergone the procedure will sometimes run away from their husbands to the school for safety. And boys who are victims of child labour and violence also seek refuge at the centre. Florence has been instrumental in transforming the centre into a boarding school, securing funding from various sources so that these vulnerable children have somewhere to stay. Today, Florence's dedication and hard work has brought the primary school home to more than 150 girls who have been rescued from FGM and early marriage. Among the girls who have found refuge at the primary school in the past, 11 are currently attending public university and colleges, and 49 are now attending high schools. Some men from the community don't want the status quo to change. Recently, an angry group of men wielding canes confronted Florence. They had come to claim the wife promised by her family to a member of the group. She was a 14-year-old girl who had sought protection at the school. The mob accused Florence of undermining their culture and threatened to teach her a lesson. Thankfully, the other teachers protected her and the police arrived in time to prevent any violence. Still, despite the danger, Florence remains committed to her mission. In 2016, Florence's church partnered with another group to launch a child development centre, and as an outstanding champion of children, Florence became the chair of the committee overseeing the centre, where there are now 252 local children in the programme. Through the centre, Florence is helping ensure that the children receive an ongoing education about their rights and making sure parents are provided with training about the dangers of FGM. We take a zero-tolerance stance on child abuse, and I will have it made clear to all our children's caregivers that action will be taken against anyone who undermines the right of a child. We understand that the key to dealing with this problem is continuous education. We envision a future in which there will be a significant drop in the number of children that suffer FGM and early marriage. Now, the little girls in her care are benefiting from Florence's passion and dedication. There is an undeniable wave of change sweeping her town. In some cases, the school enrolment of girls doubling and tripling previous enrolment numbers. There is much more that needs to be done, and Florence will keep fighting. She knows the next generation of women need her voice and her courage to continue paving the way. And the other little story I've got for you is by a guy called Akash Gautam, I think his name is. And it's titled The Courage to Choose the Right Over Easy. Yes, when saving even one life matters, imagine having saved hundreds of lives just because you had the courage to do the right instead of the easy. This is a story of a ship in the middle of shipwreck and a lifeboat that reached in time. There were 3 ships around this sinking ship when the distress signal was being sent. The first one, Samson, was approximately 7 miles from the sinking ship. Only 7 miles. They could see the sinking ship, but they turned their backs. Why? Because the crew aboard the ship had been involved in an illegal hunting of seals, they turned their backs to a shipwreck because they didn't want to get caught. Sometimes courage is not about insane bravery. It's just simply about having the guts to let go of what's important to you because someone else is in dire need. Obviously, the crew of Samson did not possess this raw quality. There was another ship approximately 14 miles away from our sinking ship. The Californian saw the distress signals as it was within eyeshot, but they were surrounded by ice and it was nighttime, and it wasn't probably comfortable for them to move. They decided to wait until the morning for the conditions to improve. You know that 20 seconds of insane courage we often talk about? When it is about someone else, those 20 seconds become even more important. The third ship was approximately 58 miles away and was already moving in the other direction. But when they heard the cries over the radio, they decided to be the lifeboat. The captain of the ship just prayed to God for direction and turned this boat. They waded ice fields in the dark, but kept going. This lifeboat was Carpathia, and the shipwreck it sailed to was none other than the Titanic. They saved a whopping 705 lives that night. Those 705 lives were saved because of one man who chose the right over the easy. That one man had the courage to look beyond his comfort, and the man deserves to be acknowledged. He is Captain Arthur Rostrom, the man who simply said, "Mr. Dean, turn the ship around." Sometimes that's how supreme courage is. So thank you, and I'll hand you over to Mrs. Sandra.
Oh, thank you so much, Darren. We're going to move into our healing segment now, and this is an opportunity for all of us to think of those in need, or if it's ourselves, and the spirit world will use our human energy and direct it to where it's needed in the world, people, places, pets, all those that are near and dear to you. And I just want to share some celebration because we have a dear community member who's been here since the beginning, our dear friend Sue, who's been in our prayers for the last couple of months. She's been in hospital. She broke her spine in 3 different places. If you tuned in early before the Sunday gathering started, she and her partner Pete there were saying hello, and this is her first time back. So Sue, we love you, and we're going to continue prayers coming your way. So all I ask for you is if you want to just remember those people and places and situations that need some healing, maybe throw in a little happy thoughts on your side to boost that energy, and just picture all healthy, whole, and well. It's a beautiful song by Miss Celine Dion that we're going to play. And then after that, we're going to hear from Dominic and Darren for our address.
Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful song from a beautiful, beautiful lady who I think we can all agree has certainly had to find a lot of courage, especially considering what she has been going through with her health. Some of you will probably have known through the media she had been suffering with stiff man syndrome. So, in the beautiful words of Celine, courage. Well, when it was my turn to pick the theme for our Sunday gathering, I had to really think hard of what would I really want us all to talk about and to really contemplate. And courage is something that we all actually have, but it's something that we don't use very often. Sometimes courage comes from different places, comes in different times of need as well. But what actually is courage, I hear you ask? Well, I don't actually know, to be honest with you. I don't really know how to describe that word courage and what it really is. But what I can express is experience of courage. And when it comes to addresses, I don't really often talk about myself. I know, shock. I really don't talk about myself. But I would like to express to you and share with you something very personal of my own experience of courage. And I won't bore you, I promise. I promise. But many of you will know that I am visually impaired. I am registered blind, and I was diagnosed with a very rare condition when I had just turned 18. I was diagnosed with a condition called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. And my journey of becoming visually impaired, becoming what I would say disabled, and going from being able to then being disabled was very, very difficult for me. Very, very difficult for me. And the whole thought process of maybe one day waking up and not having any eyesight was just very hard for me to deal with. I went through a lot of depression. I went through a lot of denial. You know, I had big dreams, ladies and gentlemen, and my big dreams did not include talking to dead people. I know, I know. But I had big dreams, big ambitions, and as a young man, I always wanted to be a police officer. That was my dream. I was going to be a police officer. I was going to join the dog branch. I was then going to join the mounted branch and be part of the horse branch. I had my whole life set out. And in that path, in that journey, and in those dreams, I did not have any reason to think that my life would change because I would be diagnosed with such a rare condition that would leave me with very little eyesight. And I had just met my partner, Mark, at the time, and we had just moved into our very own house, our first apartment together. And I was working full-time for a customer service call center. So I was dealing with Sky Television, for those in America, Verizon, you call it. So I was dealing with a lot of things on a computer, and I was trying to be brave. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, but I guess you could say I was winging it. I was just putting on that brave smile and trying to pretend that everything was okay, when in fact, I was crumbling inside. Crumbling to the degree of when I would go for the bus to go to my work, I would walk along the same road. Beside me, there was a school. I could hear the kids out playing and having the best time ever. But I wasn't. I wasn't. And as I was walking along the road, I had horrible thoughts of what you could do is jump in front of the bus, and this would all be over. This fear that you're going through of not having vision and not being able to see your little brother play soccer anymore, not be able to see your niece go and compete in dancing competitions, maybe not even be able to see the person you love's face anymore. If you jump in front of the bus, it would all be over. And I didn't have the courage to do that. As much as every day when I walked that same road going to get the bus, I found myself moving closer and closer to the road rather than the path, rather than being on the safe path. I found myself wanting to go nearer the road to the oncoming traffic and jump in front of that bus and take my own life because I could not cope with the unknown or this life that I was living. And I didn't have the courage to do it. I didn't have the courage as much as I truly, truly wanted to. And I'm not ashamed to say that I wanted to, because I did. Because I felt like this world has nothing more it could offer me. I felt it would be worthless. I'd never be able to drive. I would never be a policeman. And it may sound strange, but waking up and not knowing if it was a blue jumper or a red jumper you were putting on, not knowing if you had a little bit of toothpaste still stuck on your lip, or, you know, even if your hair was sat right. That, for me at that age, was very, very hard and very difficult. And to jump in front of that bus would make it easier to no longer be here. It would all be over. Very selfish, I know, but it was what I was thinking. But I did not have the courage to do it. The courage failed me, I guess you could say. The courage failed me because it was what I wanted then for me. But I didn't think about the pain that I would cause. I didn't think about the hearts that I would break from my family or my partner or my friends. Nor did I think about how I could unfortunately change the driver of that bus's life. The kids who unfortunately would maybe have had to witness my selfishness. I didn't have the courage to do it, but I had the courage to survive. I had the courage when I needed it the most to still be here to talk to you all today. The courage came in when I needed it the most. The courage came in to make me wake up another day and smile and say, you know what, even if I do have a little bit of toothpaste stuck on my lip, at least everyone will know I brushed my teeth. You know what, even if this blue jumper doesn't go with my black denim jeans, who cares? At least people are looking at me. You know, I went through life thinking it was so crap that I would not be able to see, or I wouldn't be a police officer, or, you know, I may not be able to drive or go places on my own. And, you know, sometimes it sucks when I stand in dog poo in the street, but hey, I can jump on the grass and wipe it off. Sometimes I find myself walking into big puddles that my white sneakers are no longer white. They become brown with the dirt. And you know what? It's okay. It is okay because I am still here. Courage comes in the most unusualist ways. It comes when we least expect it. But courage is something that we all have. Courage could be fight or flight. Courage is something about having uncomfortable conversations with family or with friends. Sometimes it's making big changes, moving from one career to another, or unfortunately, if you no longer love your husband or your wife and saying it doesn't work anymore. Courage is a strange thing, but it's a thing that helps us survive. Some of you, I'm sure, are going through the most hardest of times at the moment, but I need you to know that things can get better. When I don't know when they'll get better, but there's a promise I can make to you that it can get better. You know, courage isn't a magic wand that makes everything better. It really isn't. But it helps you find a way in your most darkest of places at times. Think about me. You know, I could easily have been selfish and decided, I've had enough. Let's step out in front of that bus. And if I did step out in front of that bus, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be here doing the mediumship that I do and helping to heal people or reuniting them with the friends in the spirit world. I wouldn't be here loving my family and, you know, seeing my family grow up and being who they are. I guess you could say I just had to look at life in a different way. No pun intended, let me tell you. But courage is something that you all have, and it's up to you to just surrender and say, courage, don't fail me now. Don't fail me now. And as long as you have the will and the fight, and even if your flame is just almost going out because you have nothing more to give, I ask you, I beg you, just reach a little bit more and grab that courage. So don't try to be the bravest. Don't try to be a superhero. Don't try to be anything. But when you need it, just surrender and ask for that courage to come and help carry you forward. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if I can do it, so can you. Not one for giving my age away, but I may as well say it before Darren or Sandra gives it away. But I was 18 then. I am 32 now. I'll be 33 in December. And let me tell you, I lived the best life. Best life. So find that courage, put a smile on your face, and even when it gets tough, tell someone it's tough, because maybe they will be your courage that helps you keep going. So thank you very much for listening. I'm going to pass over to our friend Darren to see if he would like to share any courage as well. And maybe Sandra will join us as well.
Thank you for that, Dominic. And I'm sure you'll all agree, we're glad that courage kicked in for you that day. And, you know, I think you're doing a lot more help in the world than you would have done as a police officer, that's for sure. You're reaching more people and helping more hearts and minds than you believe. So thank you for that. And thank you for being courageous and sharing that story. When you hear the word courage, if like me, the thing I think of straight away is being a superhero, jumping out of a plane, jumping out of a cliff. Well, I wouldn't be doing any of them. I haven't got the courage to do that. But it's not about the big things. You automatically go, and I do, you go to the big things like, you know, superhero, jumping out of a plane, rescuing people, all that kind of stuff. But actually it's not. It's a behavior or an emotion that we all have, like Dominic said. It's within us all. And sometimes it's understanding the courage and how to use it and when to use it. And I'm sure many of you are more courageous than you believe. You know, when you think of the obstacles that come up within our daily lives, you know, you've got to be courageous all the time, but you're probably doing it without realizing. You know, I know Dominic's touched on if you're in a work environment, you know, and I've done it and we've probably all done it. We've been in that work environment that we don't enjoy, you know, our boss is being a nightmare, whatever it may be, but we stick at it. We carry on doing it. Why do we do it? Because it's easy, you know it, it's comfortable. And I think sometimes there's a danger of it becoming too comfortable. And you kind of get set in that routine. It's nice, it's easy. Until one day sometimes, and I can only talk from my personal experience, something really happens that makes you snap. And you think, enough's enough. I need to get out of this. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years. I need to make the change. And you do. It's kind of like Dominic said, you know, courage sometimes crops up when you least expect it. But it's come from you. You've made that decision. You've made that choice to leave that environment for whatever reason. And when you make that courageous move, that courageous step, sometimes you look and think, what was all the fuss about? Why did I not do this 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago? It was easy. It was bliss. And now when I look back, I think how much happier I am, or how much happier you are. When you look back at a work situation you've walked away from, or an environment, career you've not enjoyed, you look back and you probably think exactly the same as I do. Why did I not do that sooner? And then we can transpose that into relationships, friendships, families. And, you know, we've all been there, we've all done it. We've been in relationships. I haven't lost, like Dominic said. But sometimes, you know, and I've seen it with other people, not myself necessarily. But you see people in a relationship and they vocalize to you, we're not happy. And then my response is, well, do something about it. I can't. Why can't you? What is stopping you, you know, coming out of this relationship you're not happy with? And then you see people starting to progress. Oh, they've proposed to me, we're getting married now. And I'm like, how? You're not happy? How are you allowing this to carry on? It's only going to end in disaster. It's going to end, you know, you need to do something about it. And sometimes I think it's just having that person to talk to, like Dominic mentioned at the end. Sometimes if you need that courage, you may need to speak to other people to help bring that courage out for you. And, you know, thankfully, you know, the people that I've witnessed and seen, I've seen that happen. You know, you can transform and help people to bring that courage out of them to make that decision. And I know there's one story I'm going to share. There was a lady used to work for me many years ago. And she used to come into work every day late. And so, you know, we had the conversation about timekeeping. And then one day I snapped, because I'm quite a patient person to a degree. I snapped, you know, kind of, I won't repeat what I said to her. And next minute she'd break down crying. And, she, you know, so come in the office, and we go in the office, sat down. And she said, the reason I'm late every day, my husband's been beating me. And, you know, she showed me bruises, etc., etc. And I said to her, I said, you need to do something about this. You can't, if I could do something, I would, but it's your decision. I can't, you know, we had a long conversation about it. And she sat there, she said, but I love him. I said, but does he love you? She said, well, of course he does. I said, you need to really think about that question. that what I said, when somebody loves somebody, what do they do for that person? They look after, they protect, they do what they can for that person because that's their love. I said, they don't bring pain, they don't bring suffering, they don't, you know. So again, listen to my question. Does he love you? Yes, he does. And, you know, and I tried and tried. And I mean, in the end, she left. And I tried as hard as I could. And I kept thinking for years afterwards, I kept thinking about her, how's she getting on? What's she doing? And even to this day, I think about it. And I thought, how could I have instilled that courage into her? What could I have done differently to make her see different, make her be courageous and leave, you know, this gentleman, or wouldn't even call him a gentleman, you know, this person that's, you know, causing this harm and this conflict. And I think, I don't know what I could have done differently. I don't know how, if I was in that situation, if, you know, turning it around, if I was that person being beaten, what would I do? How would I cope? And I think, like Dominic said, I think I would go to somebody that I knew, somebody that I could trust, somebody I was close to, and express my issues and, you know, my issue, my problems, basically, and hope that they can kind of somehow bring that courageousness out in me. But courage is within. It's within you. It's within all of us. And sometimes I think we need to take that step back, look at our lives, whatever it is, we're not happy, relationship, friendship. You know, how many friendships have we all had over the many, many years? And we've had falling outs, even family. I've walked away from family members, and it's hard because that's your blood, that's your, you know. But sometimes you have to take yourself away from situations to better yourself, to better your life. You know, you don't want to be in a situation where you're arguing with people all the time, or you're negative towards people, or they're negative towards you, or you know that a meetup's going to end up in an argument of some sort, or you dread that phone call, picking up that family member, that feeling, oh God, not again. Or, you know, birthdays, Christmas, you dread that family meetup because you know what's going to happen, how uncomfortable it's going to be. But sometimes, and you know, that's no good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's not good for them, and it's not good for your health. Long term, it has. Yeah, we don't know what kind of consequences it has on our mental health and our state of mind. Sometimes we need to really look after ourselves, and we need to take that courage and remove ourselves from those situations. So, you know, and there's probably many of you on here nodding your heads, shaking your heads, whatever it is, agreeing, tutting, because a lot of this probably resonates with you. You know, most of my friends I've spoken to over the years, they've all had similar situations, relationships, families, friends, whatever it may be. And I guarantee probably nearly every person on here has a family member they don't speak to. And it's sad. It's a sad thing. But the reality is sometimes, you know, we need to look after our own well-being as well as others. And sometimes we need to have that courage and just remove ourselves from that situation, remove ourselves from that person. And it's tough. It's hard. But, you know, life's not here to be easy. If life was easy, it'd be boring. You know, can you imagine if it was hunky-dory every day, we went skipping down the road, you know, like the Disney films you see, whistling away to work, you know, that'd be amazing. That'd be lovely. But the reality is it's not like that. And like I said, you know, when we look at different situations, relationships, friendships, etc., whatever it may be, I always say, put yourself in the other person's shoes. What would they do? You know, if you was in a relationship you wasn't happy with, you know, you're in it because you're comfortable, it's easy, it's normal, but put yourself in that person's shoes. Would they be saying the same thing and doing the same thing that you're doing? Because I know sometimes we don't want to hurt people, especially relationships and friendships. You don't want to part ways because you're hurting people. But then you've got to think, what would they do? Or the way I always phrase it, what would you do if I was that person and I wasn't happy? What would they do with me? Would they go along, you know, like everything's good, you know, la-da-da? No, they'd probably do. They'd probably get the courage to part ways or finish that friendship, finish that relationship, whatever it may be. And sometimes that makes it a little bit easier to make that decision when it comes to courage. But I don't know what else to talk about now. I'm kind of waffling away. But all I can say to you guys, it's, you know, courage is something that's within you. It's something, like Dominic said, it crops up when you least expect it. You know, don't go thinking of being a superhero, rescuing loads of people, jumping off a cliff. You can jump off a cliff if you want, as long as you have, some kind of a parachute. Some people may enjoy that. But no, when it comes to courage, I think you just need to stand your ground. People are quite easy and quick to label us, aren't they? When you look within our world, we've all got a label of some sort from different people, and people are quick to label and judge you. But sometimes it's not really who you are. They get a perception of, they might only meet you once, they put you in a box, they label you as a certain person, certain style, whatever they may be. And sometimes it's easy to go along with their belief, what they think you are. But actually, do you know what? To show who you truly are, we need to be courageous. We need to show our personalities. We need to show up our traits. Like Dominic said, if you walk down the road with a bit of toothpaste dripping from your mouth, so what? But I think sometimes we try to condition ourselves for people to like us, or for the world to, we're living up to perceptions of the world now. But sometimes let's take that step back. Let's show the courage and let's be who we truly are meant to be. If Sandra dyes her hair pink and colours her face green, good on you, Sandra, because that's who you're meant to be. If Dominic shaves his head bald and, wears garish clothes, then so be it. That's him. That's who he's meant to be. So don't hide who you are. Don't hide, from the world. Don't let the world label you or other people label you. We've all got the courage within. So please use that courage. Don't be afraid. And, we're all here to help if need be. And I just want to share some words as well that I found. It's about strength and courage. It takes strength to be certain. It takes courage to have doubts. It takes strength to fit in. It takes courage to stand out. It takes strength to share a friend's pain. It takes courage to feel your own pain. It takes strength to hide your own pain, and it takes courage to show it and deal with it. It takes strength to stand guard. It takes courage to let you down your guard. It takes strength to conquer, and it takes strength to surrender. It takes strength to endure abuse. It takes courage to stop it. It takes strength to stand alone. It takes courage to lean on a friend. It takes strength to love. It takes courage to be loved. It takes strength to survive. It takes courage to live. So thank you. I shall leave it there and I'll hand you over to Sandra.
Thank you very much, Darren, and thank you so much, Dominic. I will save my words about courage for after the medium demonstration, but I just want to point out, aren't we afraid of what people think sometimes, and we need to show our best stuff? Well, you just saw by these two wonderful gentlemen sharing their lives and being open and honest, and don't you fall in love with people who are being real? So take that on, just be yourself. As we go into our demonstration of mediumship, there's many reasons we do it, really, to let people know how close their loved ones are, that we still survive death. But tying it in with courage, if we take away that fear of dying, it takes away a lot of our fear of living, because we truly will never die. I 100% believe, as my amigos here, with the three amigos, believe that life is an education for the soul, that we learn here, we explore, we push the boundaries, we're courageous, all these great things, our soul is learning, and we get them through the tough stuff. So to be present for our medium demonstration, whether you get the reading or someone else does, I say we can all pull the information to us, just how close our loved ones are, how real the afterlife is, and this earth, as real as it is and real as it seems, there's a much bigger picture. It's just a small part of our life that will continue, I think, forever. So as we move into our demonstration, I know we have many brand new people here with us on our Sunday gathering, and want to give full instruction. So nothing to worry about. We are here. Here's a little bit how it goes. First of all, you've seen and heard from Dominic and Darren and myself today. We are representatives of, close to 200 people. Wow. Globally today here on our Sunday gathering. We'll hear from a handful of people in the spirit world. Now, they are representing all of our loved ones in the spirit world. So Again, if you don't get a message today, really pull the information forward, because as we have that theme of courage today, and the gentleman's words really hit me, I find every time we hear a reading that, geez, I could take a little bit of that myself. So I really think our spirit friends are fully engaged in what our theme is. Dominic is just a special man, a longtime medium and teacher. He's just a great human being. He will send his little message out, if he hasn't already, for the spirit world to work with him here on the Sunday gathering. I don't think we have control about who comes through. I think just as Dominic picked the order of service there in the unseen world, they've picked the order of who's coming through. These fine people will plant images and thoughts and feelings, maybe even tastes and smells, who knows, in Dominic's being. And he will use those to describe the person who has connected to him. Now, when we go on to the other world, we are still people. We're still us. We still have our sense of humor, as we find out quite often, don't we? But we are healthy, we're alive, we're well, no aches, no pains. We're perfect. And it's a wonderful way for them to show that we live on and that they're still part of our lives. They continue to learn and grow in the afterlife, but they keep one foot in our world. They certainly do. So you'll hear Dominic give a few bits of information about the person that has connected with him from the afterlife. He will give a description. And at that point, if you understand that this person is coming to talk to you, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, this person could be a friend, could be a family member, could be somebody you worked with, maybe somebody a little bit distant, but we want you to really listen in. And if you could take 100% of the information, raise your hand, because like I said, we're close to 200 people. So if it doesn't all fit, hold back in raising your hand, and we'll continue to work that out until time that it's just one person with their raise hand button. Now, this is the time I want you to find your raise hand button on your device. If you could press it for me, go ahead and do that. You certainly can. Why this is important is because sometimes there's more than one person that can take the information. So we want you to be on the edge of your seat, listening in clear. And if there's a piece of information that you cannot take, at that point, you will see that it says lower hand. So right now, all those fine people that press their raise hand button, if you would press it, and again, it'll say lower hand, and put your hand down. Easy as that. Okay? If you are the person with your hand up and you are working with Dominic today, I press a magic button on my side. You're going to get a pop-up on your screen with this nice bright unmute button. We'll ask you to just press your unmute button and you'll be able to speak with Dominic. Here's the key, whether it's our Sunday gathering or if you're ever anywhere getting a medium reading or part of a demonstration, limit your answers to yes, no, or I don't know. Please let the mediums of the world do the work, and so that everybody, including yourself, knows that it's the medium that really is connecting with your loved one, that you yourself didn't volunteer that information. We want to leave no doubt that life after death is real, that our loved ones are still with us, and they are communicating through great mediums like Dominic. So just yes, no, or I don't know. We love to play a piece of music before we go into our demonstration. Our song today is called Know That You're Not Alone, that Dominic picked by the artist is Cat Burns. Very appropriate words. We do feel that we're alone so often, don't we? But as we're listening to this beautiful song, just imagine close with you right now are those loved ones. No, they don't just wait for the Sunday gathering. They're an active part of your life, but it always feels good to just feel them close by. All right. So I'm going to play that song and then we'll be back with Dominic once again for our demonstration. Beautiful song. Dominic, thank you for some great music today and a great theme.
Thank you, thank you. As you know, music's my thing. I love music, and I love music that actually touches you as well. And I was laughing because one of the first verses is that she quit her job because she wasn't happy. So I was laughing Wonder if I'll quit my job. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part that we do our very best to communicate with our friends in the unseen world. So let's go on a journey together and let's see who comes forward. But as I'm starting to allow the spirit to come forward and interact with me here, I'm very aware of this. I want to say she's outrageous. I'm very aware of this outrageous mum that steps forward here just now. And I feel she's outrageous because she doesn't have a filter. She says it how it is. She's very straight to the point. I guess you could say she shoots from the hip, is what I want to say. She's got such a loving character, such a loving heart, but I know she's not a fool. I know she would be Italian because I know in the spirit world with her, there would be Italian people speaking with her. So I know that that would be connected with her. And I know as I connect the name Kathy or Kathleen would connect with mum as well, because I keep hearing that name being connected with her. I feel to a degree, she may have been small, but boy, was she mighty. I want to say that, okay? But I know she goes to the spirit world after a short period of being in hospital, and I feel either lung cancer or issues breathing would have been a problem with mum as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, friends, who understands this lovely lady? Go ahead and press your raise hand button for us, please. All right, we have Tony. Tony, if you can press that unmute button. Hi, Tony.
Hello, how are y'all doing today?
Hi,
Great.
Tony. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Lots of
Perfect.
blessings.
Thank you. You would understand this being mum, yeah?
Yes, the name no, but everything else, yes.
Okay. I don't want to change the name because I keep seeing Cathy, Kathy, so I know I have to stick with my name, unfortunately.
Okay, well,
But
thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Tony.
All right, thank you. We have another that can take all information except for Kathy being
Nope,
unnamed.
I'm going to stick with my
Stick
Kathy
with
because I'm going to stick with it. I also felt I wanted to say something like Linda or Lynn as well because I kept hearing that name being mentioned as well. I feel she's physical, though. I feel that's here in the living. But I felt like I wanted to make this reference to not being able to breathe very well or having the issues with the chest, with the lungs. That's something that she keeps impressed upon in me here. That was the scary part, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Patiently waiting, patiently waiting.
Impatiently waiting.
I know also she connects here with me. She would have I feel she would have actually came from a big family, to be honest with you. And I feel either she had a lot of sisters or she had a lot of daughters, but I feel very female as well, if I can say that. To a degree, I feel like maybe 6 or 7. Like there's a lot of family references here with her as well.
Thank you very much. I feel everybody thinking. Another one can't take the name. Let's see. Teresa's got her hand raised. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Dominic. I'm
Hey,
not
sweetie.
sure if it's me, but my grandmother, not my mother, but my grandmother is from Italy, and I have a sister named Kathy, Cathy.
Perfect. I could not change the name because I heard that very, very clear. Heard it very, very clear. And sweetie, would you understand the issues with the breathing laterally as well?
Yes,
Yes, and would you understand, like I said, being outrageous and very strong and very witty and shooting from the hip, but a huge heart?
yes,
Yes, perfect. And would you understand as well where I get this reference to having a big family or a lot of female strength with the family?
yes,
Yes, because again, I felt very much like 6 or 7. Like I felt I wanted to make reference to all the family sticking together, all the family being together to a degree that I felt the sense of like family reunions would happen regularly. Maybe anniversaries would come up for family coming together, like family would travel to be with each other on certain occasions.
yes,
Yes, perfect. And would you understand if I was to say to you as well, with that reference, the sense of maybe something coming up just now, either a birthday or an anniversary as well for September?
yeah, Yes,
Yeah,
couple.
perfect. Because I know that I want to talk about the family gathering from the spirit world to be here and to be present as well for what is yet to come or what is happening as well, if I can say to you. And would you make any reference or would you understand anything to do with grandma maybe, pressing the flowers, like putting flowers into books or into to pages of books?
I'm not sure. She may have.
Okay, because I feel like I want to talk about like opening up and seeing the flowers being pressed, if I can say that to you, because I feel I want to talk about having almost like a creative side with grandma as well, if I want to say. So I know that as much as she would have been busy looking after the family, she always made sure that the kids were not bored. There was always something to do, is exactly what I want to say. So you would have memories of being very interactive with grandma as well, correct?
So she died when I was young, but my other grandmother I remember her pressing flowers in the Bible.
Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe I've got an influence of her as well. I don't want to, jump
Yeah.
around too much because of the timing, but I know that I want to make reference to the family being together, still having that stronghold, still being here, looking after the family spirit side and also physical, if I can say that to you. And I just feel with grandma, there's a great sense of trying to be a pillar of strength for you at the moment is what I want to make reference to. And I know also with your sister being mentioned, there's a lot of love coming around her as well, if I can say that to you.
Okay.
Okay. Very quickly, just before I finish with you, would you still have a set of rosary beads, either belonging to grandma, passed to mum, or then mum's beads? I want to talk about beads that had been passed along.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Because again, I know that I just want to make a reference to holding on to your faith and finding your courage through your faith as well. And I just feel it may not necessarily be the same as what maybe they had or the way that they were truly devoted to it. But I know that I want to say the artifacts, i.e. the beads, etc., being important to you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Teresa, thank you so much for allowing me to share that moment with you. But just know that the family are all together and still very much together with you as the celebrations, the anniversaries are coming up. Know that that's why they pull close.
Thank you, Dominic.
You're so welcome. Thank you, sweetie. I'm very much aware of another lady stepping forward actually just now. And the moment that I see this lady, I know that she would have spent a short period of time, maybe a 6-month period. I don't quite fully feel a year, but I know this lady would have spent time in a wheelchair. Okay, I know that she would have had a sense of either Alzheimer's or dementia as well. I know there's a sense of confusion with this beautiful lady as she connects here with me as well. I know as she connects here with me, she would have been very, very caring. I actually feel maybe she would have been a nurse or a caregiver professionally herself, because she talks about the roles being reversed, how she gave a lot of care to others. Eventually it came back to her, is certainly what I want to say. And I do feel she's up there with a good age as well, if I can say that to you. So I feel maybe way into her 90s as I connect here with her. But I know she connects here with me as well. She would either be mum or mother-in-law. I'm willing to maybe push that if I have to there. But I know that she would be connecting as mum as I connect here with her. If you are not named after your mum, then maybe your daughter is, but I know there'd be something to do with a namesake or the name carrying forward as well. But this wheelchair is something we need to talk about.
All right, thank you very much. We have Lori with her hand raised. And
Hi.
Manuela just put up her hand. I
Hi,
noticed
Laurie.
as well.
Hi.
Would you understand this being mum, sweetie?
Yes.
Yes. And would you understand if I said to you, and I mean this with the greatness of respect, that she was up there with age as well, darling?
Yes.
Yes. And would you understand where I get the confusion or the sense of not fully being with it?
Yes.
And you understand the wheelchair, correct?
Say the last thing again?
You would understand the wheelchair as well?
Yes. Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, that does feel right because I feel her coming forward. And would you accept if I says to you as well, sweetie, that mum felt towards the end that she wasn't able to really hold conversation?
Yes.
Yes, because she keeps telling me to say that you and the family were her voice when she didn't have one herself. So I know making decisions for her. I know having conversations with doctors, with nurses, you would have done the best that you could have to be her voice. Would that be true?
Yes.
Yes. And was Mum a nurse herself?
No.
No, I felt she was like a nurse or like a caregiver in some way, darling, at some point in life.
For her family, yes.
Not the way I felt it, but we'll not split hairs. But what I would say to you, and hopefully you would understand this, I know your mum dedicated her life to others rather than herself, darling, if I could say that to you.
Yes.
Yes, because I know as she connects here with me, she was a woman that did try to be a superhero. She did try to be the strength for everyone else. She did try to, support everyone in her or their weakness moments as well, if I can say that to you. But I know that I want to talk about the namesake or the name carrying forward as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes, because I know as she talks about this, she's got a lot of pride about that, a lot of, appreciation. She's glad that there's people, if I could say to you, that still carries her name, but maybe they shorten it in some way. I want to say that to you. But would you understand as well, darling, if I was to talk about your mum either collecting, I don't know if she shows me old letters or handwritten letters or postcards, but would you understand something to do with coming across letters or postcards when mum passed away?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that I want to say there's a lot of mum still here that we don't necessarily appreciate. And I don't mean that rudely, but the sentimental things. And I know this beautiful lady would have been a very sentimental woman when she was alive, darling, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And would you accept, and you can say no if you want, but would you accept if I says to you that you feel you're getting more and more like mum as your time is moving forward as well?
Not sure.
Oh, that went silent there, didn't it? What I feel, darling, is she talks about, you deflecting and looking after everyone else and doing everything for everyone else, not accepting help or support. And again, I just feel the sentimental things, you holding on to the sentimental values, the things of importance, rather than, materialism, if I can say that to you. Would you understand it that way?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. And would you understand as well if I was to talk about a small dog within the spirit world as well that would connect to you?
Yes.
Yes, because I know that I want to see there's a beautiful dog very much around mum or by mum's feet as well, if I can say that to you, sweetie. I think it could be moved, but would you understand any Pat or Patricia?
Yes.
Yeah, in the spirit world though, yes?
Yes. Not connected with my mother, though.
That's okay, because I know that I wanted to say there's a gentle hello and some love coming from Pat or Patricia to you as well, sweetie, if I can say that to you.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I feel your mum just gently coming forward to say, as much as we didn't have the conversations and as much as I couldn't have the strength to have those conversations, she wants me to remind you that she left this physical life knowing how much you loved her. And she just tells me to say, thank you for continuing to love her in her moments of weakness, in her moments of illness. But it wasn't an easy process. And she just keeps telling me to say that you've seen past the condition and you still loved her for who she was, sweetie. Okay.
Yes.
And
Thank
she
you.
just keeps saying she appreciated that love that you had shown her.
Thank you. Yes.
You are very welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, darling, sincerely. Thank you. So I'm very much aware of a young man stepping forward here just now. I feel he's maybe in his 40s as he's connecting here with me because he feels young, but he's a man. And I know as I connect with this man, he would have loved fishing, he would have loved hunting. I feel like I want to talk about the great outdoors, a great sense of adventure with this man as well, if I can say to you. I don't feel his passing is a shock, as in sudden or unexpected, but I feel his condition or his diagnosis is a shock. And what I mean by that is feeling relatively healthy, looking after himself per se, and then being diagnosed with a condition. Now, I'm almost wanting to say cancer, but I don't have that 100%, so you have to bear with me. I know there should be a connection to Bobby or Robert as I connect with this gentleman, and I know somewhere there's either a Kenny or a Ken that would also connect with this beautiful fella, because I keep hearing this as well. But this outdoors feeling, this being in the great outdoors, is very, making me smile, and it's something where he feels he lived. I know that sounds weird. He lived for being outdoors, the camping, the fishing, the hunting. That's what he keeps bringing to my attention here. I felt he was cousin, but I could be wrong. But I felt very much like cousin as he connected with me as well.
Thank you, Dominic. All right, friends who can understand this gentleman, go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right, we have Debbie and Anna that both can understand.
I'm actually going to speak Anna because my last connection, I kept hearing the name Anna, but it didn't feel like it fitted. So let me just check with Anna, Sandra.
Okay. Hello, Anna.
Oh.
We hear you. Hello.
Hey, sweetie, if you just very quickly tell me what you understand, darling.
I understand a young, beautiful man who just lived to be outdoors and
Yeah, it's almost like I
happiest.
felt that the great outdoors, the big adventure. It's almost like he was painting a film to me, if you know what I mean, or like a movie, the great outdoors and the adventure. So you understand that, yeah?
Yes, adventure and camping, some fishing, but no hunting yet.
Okay,
Loved
that's okay.
animals, more of
Perfect.
observing.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood the hunting, but I just felt the way he showed me everything of like being out there, being with the animals and, the adventure. I do feel very much, darling, as he connected with me as well, there was a great feeling of he should have had more time here. So I know that he goes to the spirit world, if we can say, prematurely, correct?
Yes.
And I do get the impression of wanting to say he knows that he is still celebrated. He knows that people still share beautiful memories with him. He knows that there's still, I feel, maybe some equipment, maybe an old tent or a rucksack or backpack, but I feel people still have pieces of him that belong to him, correct?
Yes. They're all here, from snowboarding to surfing
That's
and
it.
all the
Yep.
tents.
Because I feel he talks about, the things still being here, maybe not getting used as much, but it's a great sentimental thing of admiring a part of him being a part of these equipments or these things, if I can say that to you, darling. And I know that he had a smile that really lit up a room, if I can say that to you as well. And I just feel he was very, I hate this word, he was almost like an empath himself, if I can say to you. He knew when maybe you weren't feeling great or when people were really down. I feel he could lift people's spirits up by just being present with them. Would that be true?
Yes, everything.
Fabulous. I know he keeps telling me to say he knows that they did everything within their power and everything within their might to try to help him or to try to save him, but he just keeps acknowledging to me things happen too quick. Okay? Things happen too quick. And he keeps telling me to say, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, he says, because I had... Close your ears, Sandra. He says, I had a frigging good time, I had a great time, when I was here. So I know that he just wants to say he's okay with the way things had happened. Okay, so just find that in your heart to know that he still has his joy and he still has his happiness, sweetie, okay?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just need to know he's still okay and he still can have his adventures. And
He's still living the best life, darling, that I can assure you. So you keep being strong and keep moving forward as well, okay?
Okay, thank you. I need to
You're very
confirm that you're right. He
you.
was a cousin, and
Oh.
the father of his cousins, my niece's name is Robert, and we call him Bobby.
Oh.
And connection with Kenny or
Yep.
Kenneth, that's my son's nephew and my grandson's. So
Perfect. So that's his way of just showing he still watches over the family. That's
you,
incredible.
yeah,
Anna,
you were
thank
right.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you sincerely. Thank you, darling. So as I'm connecting here as well, I'm very much aware of Dad stepping forward from the spirit world here. And I feel as I connect with Dad, I feel he has a son in the spirit world with him. So that would be your brother. I've not got the brother connecting with me, but maybe he will move forward. I know John is connected with Dad and with brother because I keep hearing the name John being mentioned here. And I know that I want to talk about having a great sense of carpentry or building and being connected in construction in some way is what I want to say here. I know also as I connect with, I feel it's with Dad, I have issues with the heart. And I feel maybe I should have had heart surgery or I was supposed to have heart surgery, but I don't feel he had it or got it. But I know that there would be issues with Dad's heart that would contribute to him going to the spirit world as I connect here with him. I don't know if there's Michael or Mike, but we will get to that in a little moment. But I know John being connected with Dad and with brother.
Thank you very much, Dominic. All right, friends, who understands this information? Please press your raise hand button. All right, we have Jillian with her hand raised. Oh, Elena also just put up her hand as well, and Kathy.
Oh,
now
there's
lots
my
of
Kathy from the
hands.
last.
Yes,
Let me just
and Sam. Okay, I'm gonna just okay.
With the brother in the spirit world, I know he goes to the spirit world either suddenly or quickly, but I know he does not get to say goodbye. And I know he would have lived somewhere else because he tells me he didn't get to see his family. Okay, so I know there's a suddenness or a quickness with him. It's really interesting because I actually want to talk about England as well, to be honest.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone with your hand raised. We're trusting that you can take every bit of this information, including what Dominic just said about your brother. All right. I'm going to just do this for a second. I'm going to lower everyone's hands. And if you can take 100% of that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button again for me, please.
I'm quite curious to the Jillian, to be honest with you. I don't know why, but just when you first said Jillian.
Okay, Jillian and Kathy. Sometimes a lot of people accidentally raise their hand. Okay, let's talk to Jillian first. Here she is. And I know we've got Kathy and Sam also with their hands raised. Hi, Jillian.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Hey, sweetie. If you could just very quickly tell me, darling, what you understand.
My dad was John, my brother was John, and I never got to say goodbye to my brother because I lived in America. He lived in Scotland.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's my English thing. Okay, sweetie. Would you accept if I says to you as well this feeling of a quick passing or the unexpected passing?
Absolutely.
Okay. And would you understand where I got the thing about the heart as well?
Yes.
Okay. Was there talk of either trying to fix the heart or do a surgery that maybe we didn't get to?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because I just felt in some way with Dad, and I feel very much with Dad talking very a spade's a spade or very straight to the point. It's almost like he says to me, even if he did, or even if he got, it wouldn't have worked. That's what he keeps making me want to say. Okay. Right. I do feel very much as a connect here with me. Your brother, if I can say to you, very, I kind of want to say he's a bit of a rascal, if I can say that to you. And I mean that politely, but I just feel he's a bit of a character, if I can say to you. And would you understand anything to do with the building, the carpentry, or the construction with your dad or your brother?
Yes.
Perfect, fabulous. And I know also, if I can say to you as well, in the spirit world, I don't know how this connects to you or in what way, but I'm just going to say to you, I know there's another male with them that I feel is either a friend or something that I feel would maybe have had connections to riding motorbikes or Harleys or motorcycles.
Not sure about that one.
Not sure. Did you understand the Mike or the Michael?
I have an Uncle Michael.
Okay. Bear in mind I talked about the gentleman then with the bikes. Okay, hold that thought for me. But I know that I want to say there's more family in the spirit world than maybe what we feel we've all got here as well, if I can say that to you. And I get the impression of like disorientation or family not being as connected or involved with each other the way that maybe it once used to be is what I need to say. Would it also be correct to say mums in the spirit world as well, darling? And would I be right to say that she would have been in spirit before Dad?
Yes.
Because I know that she comes forward, she almost pushes the men out of the way, and she just keeps telling me to say, let her know I love her because it's been a while. It's been a while. Okay, so I feel it's been a while since she said that to you, or since she's seen you, or whatever. And who plays piano?
My son.
Because she talks about watching over the piano as well and being so proud of that, if I can say to you. I almost want to sing, no, that doesn't sound right. I want to play Happy Birthday on the piano. So I feel maybe somebody's birthday, or she had seen him
Yes.
play Happy Birthday on the piano, but I keep hearing that as well. Do you understand Sandra?
I'm not sure about Sandra.
No, I think I've changed. I think it's moved. But I'm very aware of mum, dad, the brother, this whole sense of the family unit all together. But it's weird, and I feel this is cryptic, but all together, but not the way that you think. And it's almost like what I say, we're together, but it doesn't mean we're together. Okay, so I just
Yes.
feel as if in some way we're together, but it doesn't mean we're madly in love or romantically in love or whatever, but we're together. It's almost like maybe they split up and now together is what I would say, but that's the impression I get, sweetie. Okay.
I know a
So
Sam,
no,
but not a Sandra.
nah, I'm going to stick with Sandra.
Okay.
And like I said, it could be that I've just moved, darling. But again, that great sense of family coming together to talk about the birthday, to sing happy birthday. But I also feel there's a great sense of pride watching over your son as well, if I can just say that to you.
Thank you, Dominic.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to chat with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you want to do one more, Dominic?
I will leave it there. I will
leave it there.
because I
Okay.
did feel that change. So I think I've actually dropped
problem.
out of my links, if that's okay, sweetie.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dominic. And for our friends that didn't get a reading, please know it doesn't mean your loved ones aren't there. These fine folks are speaking on behalf of all of our loved ones, showing us just really how close they are. They're with us. We're going to see them again. They communicate in such subtle ways. And so things we often think are in our imagination, they aren't. They're just calling cards from our loved ones. We'll have Dominic back here on the Sunday Gathering in just about a month's time. I think it's October 6th that we have some great mediums coming up. Next week we have Mitch Shirley that's going to be joining myself. Chris Jacobs following that, and then I can't remember. But you can find out more about Dominic. You can go to dominicboag.com. He's got a wonderful book called The Voice of Spirit, The Boy Next Door with the Incredible Gift. He is just a giving and loving man. You can meet Dominic in person along with Darren, Scott Milligan, Josephine McKenzie, who's a wonderful spirit artist. In November, there is a special retreat, November 18th through 22nd, in a beautiful place called Barlo in the Netherlands. It was an event held last year that was just spectacular. So if you can make that possible to do that again, you can find out more at togetherwithspirit.com. So news from my website, wedon'tdie.com. Our new classes are open for registration. We have new 6-session psychic and medium classes. Also, the first week in October, Scott Milligan and I host a course called Trance and the Altered States. Pretty great stuff. You don't have to join live. You can watch the replays if you like. 99% of what we offer is recorded. So that way you can join, be part of our communities, be part of our Facebook group, do the practices, because we know that our community is all over the world. So whether you join us live or watch the replay, just as special. I have 2 brand new podcasts on We Don't Die. I talked to BBC reporter and journalist Alan Pierce, who investigated the world of comas and what happens on the person's side that experiences the coma. And there's so much to it, including near-death experiences, seeing loved ones, and more. Also, on my Shades of the Afterlife, it's a little bit heavier of a subject because as human beings, it's rough. We have relationships that don't work. We have fear of dying. There's folks with, addictions and things that really trouble us. So there's a wonderful story from a lady and her near-death experience. And then we also have words from Spirit about really how to embrace the bridge we're going to cross when it's time to go home. And not only that, but how to deal with some troubled relationships. Everything you can find and more, just go to wedon'tdie.com. If you click on the store page, that's everything coming up. You can click on the Sunday Gathering page and watch past replays, register for next week. There's a Facebook group. It's a great place to get involved with like-minded souls who talk the same language. So that's that. Thank you to our friends who have donated to make our Sunday Gathering possible. We appreciate it. Gets expensive these days, so you know who you are, and we appreciate it. If you would like to donate, just go to the Sunday Gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. I want to tell you that I read a quote earlier this week, and it says, "The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest." It struck home with me that our vulnerability truly is our strength. And I know fear just as much as the next guy or gal, and it is crippling. But someone taught me, it could have been a book I read or a podcast, that two emotions cannot live at the exact same time in the exact same space. So for instance, we can't be fearful and be present and in action at the very same time. When this first came up for me is after the death of my dad. Many of you know that I have estranged siblings in my life, fighting about dad's care after he passed, all that stuff that happens. And I remember reaching out to my younger sister, and it must have taken 2 weeks before I could actually dial the number, because there was some feuding that you wouldn't believe. And that's, in a good way, what had me start researching grief and why it hurts so bad and why good people do crazy things. And I learned that our brain chemistry changes, and how we perceive life is not how it may actually be during grief. So on this instance, I was afraid to make this phone call. And I recalled that I can't be experiencing fear at the same time being in action. And so I looked at the cell phone, and I very carefully and very presently dialed her number. And I also know, and you know this too, when you're in conversation with someone, you are so present with them and the words just seem to come out of your mouth. You're not sitting there premeditating every word you're going to say, right? Because then you wouldn't be listening. So I put this into play, and as soon as she answered the phone, and as soon as I got into her world and let her talk, it just naturally came out, the words I needed to say and what she needed to say. And the conversation was over after however long we were on, and we both felt better. And it was just one of those times where how much do we fear something and our brains create it as being so bad? And do I want to say that the relation is healed and everything is wonderful? Well, it's not. But that fear is no longer there. I respect her for her life, and she respects me and what I do here with you today. Might not be her thing, might not be, but that's perfectly okay. So stepping into that fear is just realizing being 100% present in whatever it is you're doing, even if it's receiving chemotherapy or something. I just had a lady say, being fully present to go, oh, well, that's what chemotherapy feels like. Oh, and I do believe miracles are possible. I know that there's some people greatly suffering here on our Sunday gathering, but I do know pain and being in the present moment, it can really, really help. So that's my 2 cents about being courageous. And, sometimes we look back on things we fear once we've done them, and it's like, what was all the fuss about, really? And then I know, and you'll know this too, that you've come a very long way in your life, and you've experienced some really tough things. You've made it through. So those things that we fear in the future, we're going to make them through. You're not alone. Love is around. You've got the support of our Sunday Gathering family, our Facebook group, and then also those loved ones in the spirit world around you. It is all real, my friends. So with that, let me pass it over to Darren for our closing prayer.
Thank you for that, Sandra. And it's great being here with Sandra, Dominic, and you guys once again. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So if you'd all like to close your eyes and join me for today's closing prayer. We'd like to thank our friends, brothers and sisters from across our lands for coming here together today, united as one under that banner of We Don't Die, and for once again allowing us to conduct our Sunday gathering in the presence of those in the unseen world. To our friends, helpers and loved ones in that world we call unseen, we'd like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude for once again allowing us to hear and absorb your words, your thoughts, and feel your love through the minds and hearts of our workers here today, allowing us to be more uplifted, loved, and healed. And we'd like to thank you once again for reminding us there are no barriers or boundaries between our world and yours. Each and every one of us here today has felt that love, that joy, and that healing power, and been immersed once again within the presence of your world, and been reminded that love and life are both eternal and will never end. And we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to work hand in hand with your world here today. Each and every one of us finds it an absolute joy and privilege to work with your world. And each and every one of us does this to the best of our ability and our own understanding. And we truly hope we've made you proud here today and truly made a difference within this world. And as we continue about our daily lives and continue our journeys, we ask once again that you continue to support us and help us to bring that courage to make those decisions, to make our lives better for not only ourselves but all those around us as we continue to move forward in the internal world. And we ask once again that healing balm continues to shine to all four corners of the world, to bring that healing balm, that joy and that love to all those hearts that may be in need here today and going forward. Until we meet again, my friends. Amen.
Thank you so much, Darren, and thank you, Dominic, and to you, our friends and our friends in the spirit world. We're going to play our last piece of music, and one piece of advice I didn't mention earlier, but if in doubt, play a little Disney. Whether you put on a Disney playlist or you watch a Disney movie, sometimes it's just the strength, courage, happiness, compassion, joy that you need. So this is a sing-along song from the Disney movie, Brave. And we can all be a little kid and sing along right now. And it's a great movie. Great movie. Add a little Disney. Well, thank you all once again. We love you. Three Amigos will be back October 6th. But of course, I'll be here next week with Shirley. Have a great week, everyone. Bye, and thank you.